Is this a comedy also? Because you gotta have jokes in your comedy.
Ooh, that couch just fluffed itself. Whose crib is this, man? Steve Jobs?
What's up, YouTube? Drive-By Movies here, and you're watching
Fresh Releases.
My name is James.
My name is Blaise.
And today we're checking out the remake that hit HBO Max, as well as theaters, like, apparently, House Party.
Have you seen how out of control this party is? Shit, we done fucked up the koala. You good? What the fuck just happened?
From New Line Cinema comes your VIP ticket into the hottest event of the year, House Party, the remix to the fan favorite 90s classic. So, House Party is this, I wouldn't quite call it a remake. This is 2023's House Party. It's more of just Warner Brothers kind of trying to reuse the rights to their film, maybe get some older folks that remember the 90s film, or I think it's 89 if I remember correctly, the original House Party, or maybe it is 90, but therefore that's why it feels kind of like an 80s movie, because it was made in 89 or 88. But anyways, yeah, they're just trying to get people into the seats that might have liked the original, while also, you know, entertaining a new audience that just likes to party or maybe watch Project X once. Anyways, James, what do you think of the latest 2023's House Party?
Well, I don't know how to compare it to the original, just because, well, it's been a while since I've seen the original. I saw it for the first time with you. We're watching it for fun, and it was a great time. I highly enjoyed it. I wouldn't say it's like the most memorable movie ever, but I see why it has its cult audience and a lot of people love it. But it's not really a movie that needs a remake, and if you are going to remake it, got to make it kind of feel timeless, because that movie feels very timeless. This one does not. This feels like something straight to video or straight to like TV on Freeform channel. Not even HBO Max, where it's like premium quality content. No, this is like Freeform style content. What the heck does cap mean? I kept hearing that nonstop. I see it as a comment on TikTok.
Man, you're showing your age. You're showing your age.
But yeah, they just constantly said cap throughout the movie. I'm like, what does this mean? This is not gonna age well and stuff. Like, you know, of course there's certain there's certain dialogue that like will go over my head that was, you know, certain slang of the times that, you know, at least like somewhat I still probably have heard of it, but the modern slang, like, of course I catch up with it eventually, but I'm always behind on the times. But like the fact that just hearing it in a movie like this and stuff, and it's not even like the funny slang that we hear today and stuff too. It's like slang that just like everyone's like, what the hell were millennials like even talking about? And is this a comedy also? Because you gotta have jokes in your comedy.
Yeah, I would have to say that I don't think either of us laughed too hard throughout this film. There was a couple moments where we had like a pretty good chuckle. Like there was funny moments, I think, more towards the beginning. But I think as it slowly, this film set in, it feels like the comedy was like vacuum sucked out of the room. And we just were questioning every character motivation and decision, and just how bad the characters were to each other, and there felt like there was really nobody to root for in this movie. I know you hear that often, and sometimes you can let it, you know, fly in a horror movie when you start rooting for the killer, but really, I mean, there's nobody in this. I mean, I guess the only person you could root for really is Kid Cudi. He's like enjoyable every time he's on screen. He has natural charisma. I think he is honestly a great actor. He just doesn't do too many movies, but he knows how to act. It feels like the majority of the people in this movie, they have a lot of stuff on their resume and stuff. It just, the project didn't really line up with, I feel like, maybe the ambitions they had. I understand the idea of like wanting to remix the movie, but this almost felt like how they're redoing Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with a more serious tone. It just didn't work at all. It felt like the original House Party reminds me of a popular I mean, honestly, the first thing I think of when I think of the original House Party is like some of the dance sequences where they're just honestly so fun, like any of the dance-off sequences. And that's one of the things they did redo in this movie. It just doesn't work though.
Right, yeah. Just also a lot of the things just feel outdated. Like what we were talking about was like slang and stuff, but even some of the like cameos too, because that's what this movie heavily focuses on and tries to get your butt in the seat to watch this movie by saying like, oh, cameos galore and stuff. And well, I get the premise and the setup is them throwing this house party at LeBron James's place. Like that is a fun concept. It just, but like for the reasons why they're doing it isn't fun whatsoever. So like there's just like should have been some like an extra writer kind of brought into the writing room. I know that the writers of this movie are two writers who worked on the show Atlanta, which I know gets great reviews and I hear it's hilarious, but also, you know, very like serious during the right moments and stuff. And I'm not sure why their tone just didn't work for a movie like this. I think they just really needed to bring in another writer who kind of just has like no affiliation with the original, has nothing to do with the current writers that were on the movie, just to like touch up and like ask questions like, what's up with this? What's up with this guy? What's this motivation? Like, and just tying up all those things and stuff. Like, where are we going here? Like, what was the point over this? Because there's a lot of like kind of villainous moments within the movie, but things get solved very quickly and stuff. Like, and it's just bizarre that like I was asking myself more questions throughout the movie and stuff. Like, there's a love interest, but like, you know, the guy's got a daughter, like what's going on with the baby mom? Like, not saying they have to be together, but just like when you leave all these like kind of open-ended questions, it's just like, well, why isn't she the love interest and maybe he's trying to impress her? Why does he need 10 G's specifically? What school is he trying to send his daughter to? Like,
one thing actually to go into that, I started thinking about it, kept me up late at night thinking about like, so just to explain to the viewers that haven't seen this movie, the main character needs to come up with 10 grand to get his daughter into private preschool. But that's why they're throwing the party, and they're throwing it at LeBron James's house because they're cleaners that worked at his house, and they found out at his house, and they're like also found all of his contacts. Like, we can invite all of his friends and then make money off his friend, like basically scam his friends, thinking that they're going to his party. Also, have you ever been to a friend's party where you had to pay to go in? So that doesn't make any sense right there. It's like it's just, the premise holds no water whatsoever. I could understand them inviting their friends and charging their friends money saying, oh, it's at LeBron's house, like they're going to want to pay so they can see LeBron's house, or just trash LeBron's house like the characters talk about in the movie. Like, we can't invite our friends because they're going to trash the place, or the people that we know. But one thing that doesn't make sense, what in the very like first scene of the movie where we're introduced to our protagonist Kevin, isn't his parents mention that they're moving, so he needs to find a place to live?
Yes.
Why does that never come up at all? Again, that never comes up. Why wasn't that the premise of the movie? He needs to find a place to live, so he's got to come up with enough money for this would be easier and it wouldn't be as much money. It'd be a more realistic, attainable goal. He needs to just come up with enough money to get pay your first month's rent and your last month's rent for a new pad, or for a lease.
Apparently, like, he's gonna have the money to move into any place he wants once he gets this tech job that's 1 month away. And like, I get it, you can have arguments like, oh, well, he lost money due to that first party he was trying to throw, then his friend messed him over. But there's no like establishment. And, of course I hate, just like hearing like nonstop, just like being told what's going on and stuff, just nonstop exposition. But like sometimes exposition is needed, and it was like kind of needed within this movie. Like, House Party worked the original because like, they're high school characters. They're, when you're in high school, you're looking for the party of the weekend and stuff. And it made sense for that sequence of that movie. What made this party so special? Just because some celebrities are there? That's everywhere in LA these days. Like, I go to places by accident and just like, oh, look, there's a celebrity. Celebrities come into my work all the time. Not saying that's like a party and stuff, but like, what made this party the big one that everyone wanted to pay to go to and stuff? Just because it's LA, there's plenty of things to go to, and like, it's just like a lot of questions like that and stuff too. Like, nothing seemed that crazy about the party other than just like, Lil Wayne and Snoop Dogg are walking by, but nobody's bothering them, which is highly unrealistic. They'd be getting people asking for selfies nonstop.
Mixtapes would be getting handed out left and right to any celebrity that would have to accept it.
Yeah.
This movie just, you know what I think the real problem with this movie though is beyond like just the fact that there's really nobody to root for. The characters are almost unrelatable and it just, they don't make sense almost. They seem like they're very entitled while they shouldn't be. It just, a lot of it just doesn't add up. You're just like perplexed, wondering like why somebody wrote this kind of like half character or something. It feels like he just picked up some people off TikTok and didn't find out who they were. Not saying the actors, but just the characters. He didn't bother at all using the story to figure out who the actual characters were. I don't really know enough about them after spending 90 minutes with the characters. But it feels like the original, I'm a huge fan of the original House Party. I haven't watched the others, but when we watched the first film, dude, I was loving it. And then another film that I liked that I find is kind of similar, not in the sense of the story, but in the sense that they had characters that you're rooting for, but they still went serious and you still had a lot of fun. And it's another House Party style movie, is Can't Hardly Wait.
Right. Yeah.
It's about, just one party. It's stuck there. And I feel like movies like that, and you can even throw it back to Dope. That's another movie where it doesn't revolve around a party, but they're characters that we can get behind. We can relate to those characters. We want those characters to win. And it feels like this, you end up after 30 minutes, kind of hoping that the characters do go to jail, but this film becomes so cartoonish and ridiculous towards the end, and it doesn't match the very serious tone they're trying to get with in the beginning. It's almost like they gave up halfway through the script.
Right, yeah, and you would think you'd root for them more if they lost their job for like unfair reasonings, like Ice Cube in Friday gets fired on his day off and stuff, and it was like that wasn't me that they got on camera and stuff, like I don't know what's going on and stuff. So there's that element to the movie, but you root for him because it's his day off, and that wasn't him who he lost his job unjustifiably. Versus this movie, they were smoking on the job and messing around, like they're getting high and stuff, like all for smoking weed. I do it all the time, but I'm not going to do it at work and stuff where there's cameras watching me too. They rightfully got fired, and they rightfully deserve to get in trouble after getting caught trying to throw a party at LeBron James's place. I would have it would have been different if certain circumstances were oh, I really want them to win this one thing, they're going through so much stuff and they don't deserve that, versus just I just don't really care, sadly. And yeah, it's unfortunate because I can't even tell you how the movie ended. I know it ends up kind of wishy-washy towards the end, but just already forgot about it after 2 days. But here we are reviewing it, and I feel bad. I'm just gonna say kind of skip it.
Yeah, sadly this movie's a must skip, I would say, instead of a must watch. Please do not watch this. It's so bad. Honestly, it's to the point where, and it's not even just bad in the sense that, yeah, I really like the original House Party and this isn't a good remake of it. I like the idea of a remix, but this movie's just all over the place. Morally, it's questionable at best, and it just feels like the writing and just the whole story of the movie is so bad, to the sense that now I'm even questioning if Atlanta's actually good. And I haven't seen it, but I'm I don't know if I would watch it after seeing what a couple of these writers are capable of.
Right. Yeah, it's unfortunately so, let us know what you thought about it. I think it was panned critic-wise, but, who cares? I just care about your opinion. So let us know in the comments what you thought about the movie. It's a great way to help support the show. You can also watch it through our Amazon affiliate link in our description box below.
And if you guys haven't already, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and click that notification bell to get all of our latest updates.
If you can't get enough of us here on YouTube, be sure to catch all our social media links down below for Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, as well as our own Letterboxd account. That'll conclude this week's episode. Tune in next week for a brand new video.